welcome back to the channel. Today we're having kind of a revisit, but not really. You may have seen my video about the elf head. Can you gig it? I'll have a link to that in the description and at the end. Right now, today, we're talking about the elf 1x8 combo. Trace Elliot went ahead and stuck its elf head inside a speaker cab. 1x8, 1/8-inch speaker, weighs about 17 pounds. This is pretty close to like the ultimate combo amp for me. So, what do we got here? Well, as I said, we have an 8-inch driver. And really pretty much just an elf head stuck inside. So you have your input, your gain, bass, mid, treble, and master volume, and a headphone / line out. Now, just like the elf head, the gain here, as you increase it, adds a bit of compression, and if you have it all the way up, you get a nice crunchy overdrive tone, which could be useful. I haven't found a use for it yet, but maybe you could. Around back, you have your mains, your power switch, your headphone or speaker select, which is nice, so you can defeat the speaker if you're listening to headphones. You have a speaker output, which can take an 8-ohm speaker, and then you have your direct out. Now, it's always affected. It's post EQ, so you won't get a clean sound out of this, or a non-affected sound, but it does have a ground lift, or since Trace Elliot was originally an English company, a earth lift. So you want to lift the earth, hit that button. Now, as I said, this would be probably the ultimate combo. The only thing missing from this is a auxiliary in. So you can't plug your iPad or iPhone or whatever your music in and practice along with the headphones. Probably the only thing that makes this thing that makes this amp come up short. Really, for my purposes, I'm going to a practice. Don't want to bring a big amp and freak people out. Bring this along. I did a gig yesterday. We had full PA. Brought this. Went straight into the PA. I had it up on a speaker cab, so it was a little bit elevated, so I could hear it, so it's not firing at my ankles. But really, I mean, you'll hear. Here, we're just going to use the room mic. We're not going to be going direct or anything like that. If you want to sample the direct sound, you can check out the other video. But really, I mean, other than the lack of the auxiliary in, I mean, this is almost the perfect amp. You can bring it to a small gig. Yeah, it's only an 8-inch speaker, but it's 130 watts into that 8-inch speaker. 200 watts if you add an extension cabinet. And like I said, 17 pounds, so you can walk right in to your practice just carrying the amp. Another neat feature, this real nice padded cover that the amp ships with. Pretty good deal. Now, in addition to the 8-inch combo, Trace Elliot also makes a 10-inch combo. And the price difference is this goes for $579, $580, and the 10-inch one goes for $600. And, I probably can't make a good argument for why you would want to just spend the extra 20 bucks and get the 10-inch one. In my purposes, I wanted as small amp as I can. I do some acoustic gigs where a little small amp like this and my acoustic bass guitar will be perfect. Real low volume. If I need to go in the PA, I can do that. I have my full Mesa stack for if I'm doing a big show, so I don't need anything really bigger than this. Like I said, it's perfect if I have to go to a small jam session or a practice and I don't know if there's no amp there. I can bring this in, and I know that I'm not going to get funny looks for bringing in a huge cab, and more than enough volume to hang at a practice. If you're practicing louder than this amp, then you're probably playing death metal, as I mentioned in the other video, but really you don't need to practice that loud. But anyways, let's hear how it sounds. Alright, so we're just going to be using my Fender 60 60th anniversary Fender Road Worn 60s jazz bass. You can find that in my playlist for reviews on this bass as well. But both pickups straight up, tone up all the way. We're just going to go with the amp. Now, you may or may not be able to hear that. One of the complaints I've seen online is that the fan, the cooling fan, is kind of loud. And trying to be quiet and all that, but I mean, as people say, oh, for recording purposes, oh, when working recording, well, if you're recording with this, I mean, you're taking a direct out, and you're probably also close micing. I don't think it's going to show in the close mic too much, but I don't know. We're not going with the close mic here today, but if that's an issue, that's an issue. It's a big deal to a lot of people. For me, not a big deal. All right. So, let's go and show you where we're at. We got everything straight up and down at 12 o'clock. Gain straight up, volume straight up, and all the tones centered. Alright, so there you go. Straight ahead. Let's take the gain. You can hear a little bit of noise introduced there. Maybe, if you can hear. I got the gain up to 3 o'clock. There you go. That's with the volume at 12 o'clock, gain up. Let's put the volume to 3 o'clock. There you go. Now, I mean, of course, it's hard to tell from a video how this will actually sound in the real world, but I get a good feeling that, you know, unless it's really heavy hitting drums, like I said, at a practice, at a light jazz gig or acoustic gig, this amp is going to more than hold up for itself. But aha, you say, what if I need a little more power and a little more volume? Well, there's an extension speaker jack, and I happen to have a 110 cab here. Now, in my Elf Head video review, I just reviewed the 2.8 cabs. I mentioned about the 110, which I had before and have obviously since reacquired. This is mine. The biggest problem that I have with the 110 cab is that there's an inherent boominess built into it. I have gigged this exact combo, and it was a small indoor gig. Not the best acoustic treatment in the room. It was like a garage, basically. That we were playing for a campground gig, and we had drums. And actually, it was I can't remember if the drummer used a snare drummer, a bass drummer or not. I have to look again. I was told, hey, that's way too boomy, too much bass. So I had to cut the bass off quite a bit. I don't know if you noticed, but the 1.8 by itself had a decent sound. It was pretty solid. I didn't boost the bass up at all, but you know, it didn't really get too boomy. It didn't really sound like it was straining at all either. With the 110 attached, you're going to get a little bit more low end, obviously. So let's go. Everything back at noon, gain at noon, master volume at noon, and the EQ's neutral and centered. boost up that gain. Oops, sorry, slapped. So you can see a little bit more extension, I think, in the low end there. Not too gloomy in this room here, but something to keep in mind of if you're playing out. Let's master volume at 3 o'clock as well as the gain. I noticed some comments on my other video about the low end being kind of flabby as the gain was pulled up. So I'm going to roll back the bass. To 9 o'clock. Alright, now, because someone's going to ask, why don't we try the head of the 110 and compare that to how it sounds with the 1.8. We're not going to go crazy with all tone shifting and all that. Everything is going to be set straight up and down. Gain, bass, mid, treble, volume, all straight up. First off, we'll go with 110 in the head. Now, let's go with the 1.8. Same settings. So there you go. The Trace Elliot Elf 1x8 combo. Like I said, for my purposes, this is almost the perfect combo. All I would do would add the auxiliary input in the back. Otherwise, small gigs, perfect. So let me know in the comments what you thought of the comparison between the head and the 10-inch and the 1.8 combo by itself. Sound a lot alike? Any differences you hear? Which would you go for? I think I have a pretty flexible setup right now. I either got my Mesa gear or the Trace setup here. I can pretty much handle any gig that comes up. So yeah, I'm pretty happy with the 1.8 combo. Again, feel free to throw in the comments what you think. Be honest, be brutal. Check out the other video that, like I said, will be linked for the Trace Elliot head. Please subscribe, and also check out my playlist of other review videos. And yeah.